The more cozy games we've been getting, the more we have been seeing copy and paste releases with barely anything to add to the genre. Luma Island pleasantly breaks the cycle with a gameplay loop that has its hooks on me. And thanks to Feel Free Games for sponsoring this video, I got to play it early and I have a lot to say to help you decide if this is the game for you. As always, I have free reign over everything that I'm saying, so this is exactly how I feel about it. And if you're here only for the tips and tricks, then use the timestamps so you can jump across to that. So we're gonna jump into the gameplay because while there is a story here that initiates you to help the villagers because of an earthquake that destroyed many shops, the story is more focused on the gameplay loop itself. So we start with a quick and simple character creator, and you know what? I have been so depressed because of the weather in the UK. It's just gloomy all the time, so I went with a Bubbles in Summerland kind of vibe, but with a cute hat to go along with it. If I can't get dressed all summery in real life, just let me live vicariously through the game for now. Once you're done, a quick tutorial is gonna start to teach you the basics, then you're sent to the town hall where you get to pick your profession. For my playthrough, I went with a cook. I love games that let me cook and I love a bit of farming, so this profession seemed like the perfect one for that. Professions have difficulty levels, so for example, the cook is gonna be a 1-star level, meaning it's very easy to get into. The brewer is also a 1-star level, but then the archaeologist is a 3-star level, and the devs recommend that you play that last if you really like a challenge. So by increasing order of difficulty, you have your cook, the brewer, the treasure hunter, that one comes with a very cute pup, then you have the blacksmith, the fisherman, jewelry crafter, and of course the final one is the archaeologist. I was so torn between the cook, like I really love cooking, but also the treasure hunter because, you know, I love my puppy Teddy, so I was like, oh my god, I can get to have Teddy with me, but I just had to go with the cook for now. And the good thing is that you're not tied to the profession forever, you can still change it, so that made the decision a little bit easier for me. And depending on the profession that you're gonna go with, you have a series of tasks to help you progress through that profession's story or list of tasks to become the best out there. For the cook, it's all about farming and cooking progressively more difficult recipes. Farming is very easy here. You till the soil, you plant your crops, and then you harvest them. Of course, you're gonna have to water them as well. However, some crops are gonna need some fertilizer to grow, and in this game, you use the fertilizer after you've planted the crop. You water them, as we said, using your can, but soon enough you will unlock a hose and sprinklers to make things easier. There are no seasons in this game, so even though there is a weather system, you can plant the crops at any time during the game. Now, the biggest feature in Luma Island is all about exploration, and the game does not hold your hand whatsoever. You can't just stay in your house and that's it. You have to venture out to collect treasure, to find keys to unlock various mysteries in the land, to collect these fragments to unlock ruins with even more treasure, and you still need to go into the caves regardless of your profession. At night, ghosts are gonna be haunting the land around, so you're gonna need to use your whip to get rid of them. And I know you've seen the spiders in some of the caves with other creators, but don't worry, with the full version, you can turn those off. So if you have a phobia like I do, these spiders are they're freaking scary. I saw one and the way I ran, we're not gonna talk about it, but I'm telling you, that was creepy. But keep in mind that even if you get rid of the spiders, you're not getting rid of the combat here. You still get some ghosts and different versions of enemies that you need to fight using your whip. And I would say the best thing that you can do is upgrade your tools. Not only your combat tools so you become more efficient, but every single tool that you have, because this game is very slow when it's starting. It's gonna take a really long time to do different things. The pacing is really slow. So if you want to make things a little bit easier and quicker, you have to upgrade stuff. And of course, to do that, you're gonna need things like copper, which you need to get from those caves. If you die while you're in the cave, the game is gonna respawn you back to the entrance. And when you enter the cave, you're gonna notice that it's pitch black. And what you need to do is craft some torches and then use them to light your way. If the darkness is gonna catch you, then you're gonna see the circle just eating up your screen, and then you're gonna be initiated back to the outside of the mine. You also have these fun temples with puzzles to solve, and they're really fun to traverse. There will be some traps around that you need to avoid, or, you know, find different ways that you can rotate statues so you don't get hit with the fire that is coming out of them. They are a bit challenging, but they're so worth it because every time you finish that round, you're gonna find yourself swimming in good loot. If you die in a temple, you respawn at the level you died at, and of course, you're gonna have some enemies in there as well. With exploration in mind, the map is confusing. It's very small and very hard to navigate. I've said that before, and apparently a lot of you are the same as me. Us in the bubbly community are terrible at navigation, so I really wish that there was a mini-map to guide us here, even though the game is not that big anyways, but it would have been a little bit more helpful. And I also would really appreciate if in a future update we get different markers or legends that we can put on the map so we can memorize where is, you know, where is this shop or where is whatever I'm looking for. Now the name Luma Island, like what is Luma? Basically you have 6 of these that you can find in the game, you can collect them and hatch them, and one of them is gonna follow you around while the others, as far as I've seen, they stay at the farm to help you out. By feeding and petting them you get Luma energy, and this is a resource that you need for various recipes. You're also gonna see that everything you do has specific essences, like you have your rock essence, wind essence, earth essence, and whatnot. These are also needed to upgrade tools and build different things, and they're very easy to stack up, but the Luma energy is a little bit difficult, so you're gonna have to prioritize that. I also want to show you a couple of things that you have to be aware of, and these might be big decision factors that you need to consider to decide if the game is for you. You're gonna notice, as I mentioned earlier, the game does not hold your hand at all. Like, even when you're tracking a quest, the map is not gonna show you where you need to go or where to find different NPCs. It's not gonna tell you that there are these things like ground puzzles or color puzzles that you need to solve and then, you know, get different treasure. It's also not gonna tell you that you have these ruins that you can open up by collecting these fragments that are scattered across all of the map. And this is crucial because this is how you get your first Luma egg. So you can expect barely any guidance at all in this game. Also, Luma Island is very slow paced, it's extremely grindy, and I don't like games that push this kind of grind with no reason, and I'm happy to tell you that in this game, it's very similar to other ones that you've seen on my channel that I vibed with. It feels very rewarding and it makes you want to keep grinding because there's something very satisfactory about you progressing through the different tasks that you need for your professions. There's also no stamina meter to worry about. I know a lot of you don't like having to worry about that. And not only that, you also don't have to worry about going to bed at a certain time. So this might be a really big factor why you go with the game. This is such a welcome change, so you can do a lot of things at your own pace. Let's also talk about the performance and the controls really quickly. Performance-wise, there's not much to say because the gameplay for me was very smooth. I had no bugs. The settings don't have much for you to toggle with. I do prefer games letting me have a little bit more choice to control the graphical settings. Control-wise, I switched between keyboard and mouse and then controller. Both were very easy to use and it's very easy to memorize the buttons. But one thing that I encountered a lot is whenever I would try to do something, like let's say I'm trying to chop this fern, I would chop grass instead, or I'm trying to chop this tree, but I would chop whatever instead. And this is because of 2 reasons. Number 1, the game is very dense with a lot of things to forge all around the island. And number 2, you do need to move your character around quite a few times sometimes to get into the right position. Inventory-wise, you do have a sort button to sort everything out. It's crazy how many games these days don't have something as simple and like this quality of life feature that is just missing in them. So thank you, devs, for having it here. And also you have your journal and map, which appear together when you access either of them. So it's very minimalistic here, and I mean, you don't really need much anyways. And graphics-wise, this was such a stunning game to play. You have a mix of 3D and pixel art, which is very pretty to look at. So looking at the waterfalls and the ocean and the forest is very mesmerizing, and even the town itself is amazing. I really wish that we can go into the buildings because I can imagine how beautiful they would be. And my favorite part is the lighting here, especially during sunrise. The game looks gorgeous. In the sound department, everything is extremely well done, and this adds a level of immersion to the game. There is no voice acting here, which is fine for me, but the sound effects are so satisfying with everything that you collect, and it makes like fun sounds which feel very rewarding. And also the environment has an excellent sound design, from the sound of the ocean, the winds, the animals, and it does the job really well inside the caves. And in terms of the music, you know, I'm very picky with my music. I really love the music here, and I was humming the OST even after I was done playing. So what about the fun factors here? Before we get into that, hello you gorgeous human being, it's Miss Bubbles. If this video is helpful, please squish the like and subscribe buttons because that helps YouTube push the video for other people who might be considering if Luma Island is the game for them or not. So about these fun factors, the first one of course goes to the professions. Being able to switch them anytime you want with a small fee, it really adds to the variety and you can drastically change the gameplay style in simply 1 second. You also get a lot of animals to help you on your farm, including a dog or a cat to help you find treasure. You can decorate the farm as well as expand on your house as you progress the story. You have multiple NPC quests to help you rebuild the town, which in turn gives you new shops to visit. And on a similar note, you also have like this bridge to repair, and then you can reach a wider forest and expand the area in the island, and you also have different facilities to repair as well. There are also plenty of recipes to unlock, blueprints to build, and content to do. So you can fish, cook, farm, mine, forage. You have 6 Lumas to hatch, as we said, and collect, and you can do all of this and more in co-op mode. And I would love to tell you that I'll be streaming this tomorrow with Josh, so if you want to see how co-op mode works, then make sure that you are tuned in for that. Is Luma Island for you though? We're gonna go with this game is for you if, not for you if, and my verdict. This game is for you if you are tired of the same old repetitive cozy games. The variety in professions gives you multiple progression quests, keeping your gameplay loop for each one very different. This ties into the game being for you if you love replayability value because you have so much content to dive into and you choose which gameplay you want to focus on. It's also for you if you are okay with a challenge and a bit of grinding. Even with the 1-star difficulty levels of the professions, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna focus on mining or you're not gonna go visit the temples, which can be pretty challenging. So if you welcome a challenge in your cozy games, this is definitely the game for you, and it's for you if you don't care about progressing NPC relationships and you're okay with combat in your cozy game. However, Luma Island is not the game for you if you hate combat in your games, if you like cozy games with an emphasis on things like romance, gifting, and NPC relationship progression. We don't have that here. If you don't like a game that will not hold your hand, so you actually have to explore and test things on your own, and it's not for you if you think this is a farming game, because it's not. It does have a bit of farming, but the main essence of this game is exploring and just venturing out and seeing what's in the island. And it's not for you if you don't like a grindy and slow-paced game. As for me, it was so hard to put this game down and play. I was supposed to script this video in the morning, and right now it's 7 p.m. I just got to filming this video because I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna play like 1 hour. Just like, let me just progress a tiny bit just to have a bit more footage for my bubbly community. I ended up playing 6 hours. So yeah, I've said this a lot. This year, many games in the cozy genre have either been a copy-paste product of each other, or they had trailers that overpromised the final product only to release and feel completely underwhelming. Luma Island is easily a game that exceeded my expectations, and I'm gonna be putting it in my S tier list when I rank all the cozy games that I played this year. The variety in gameplay is such a welcome change, and as someone who loves fantasy life and has been so eager to play it, Luma Island is that cozy sweet spot that scratched that itch that I have been having for fantasy life all year long. I also have some very beginner tips just to make your start a little bit easier, and it's also some gameplay features that might help you decide if this is a game for you. You can destroy benches and workstations and get all of your resources back. I like that once you gather something, it shows you a preview of how you got it. And if you're trying to craft something, if you keep your mouse on the object, it's gonna show you a preview of how to get all the different resources one by one. You use drawings to build different working stations and you fill in the resources to do that, and you can buy even more drawings by visiting this place in the town. You get your tools by finding them, and you have to make sure that you focus on upgrading them because they're gonna make gathering resources a lot faster. And if you're gonna be in the temples and in the caves, make sure that you upgrade your whip because you're gonna really need it. Otherwise, the ghosts and the monsters are gonna get you before you get them. You have different shops to visit to buy different resources, but if you want to sell your items, most shops will let you do that, and the price is not gonna change. It's gonna be universal across all of them. To change your profession, you go here in town and pay 500 coins. You can toggle off the spiders by clicking this in the settings. Shops are always open, so there's no hassle of memorizing the days and the times. Torches stay active in the caves forever, and if you come back and you see them like barely putting out any light, just walk through them and they're gonna light up again. You can unlock this pet shop by repairing it and then get a pet to help you find treasure. There are different puzzles around, like these color ones where you step on the stones with different colors by following the order that is shown on the crystal. Interact with all the NPCs because some of them will have quests for you and there's no indicator if they have it or not. And they're very important because they're gonna help you unlock new shops and areas around the map. Grab bunnies and get a home for them because they're gonna be a lifesaver when it comes to getting rid of weeds on your farm. Go and explore. This game rewards curiosity, and make sure to rotate your camera and look at every nook and cranny. Plus, treasure respawn a lot, so make sure you're always on the lookout for them. If you go with the cook profession, don't sell your crops after harvesting them. Make sure to use them when cooking or baking something, then sell that product. Because in this game, because the crops on their own are barely gonna make you any money and it's just not worth it. But enough about me. Are you gonna play Luma Island? If you are, let me know, and you can grab it for yourself by clicking on the link that is found both in the description box and the pinned comment. So let's talk all about what you think about it. Thank you to my YouTube and Patreon bubblies for making videos like this possible, and a shout out goes to the Game Dimension, Jake Logan, and Stephanie for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay